I came home early from the construction site that Tuesday afternoon, exhausted from overseeing a foundation pour in the Atlanta heat. The house was quiet when I stepped inside, too quiet for 3 in the afternoon. I heard muffled voices coming from upstairs from our bedroom. My wife Rachel's laugh, breathy and intimate in a way I had not heard directed at me in months. Then, a man's voice, low and familiar. My blood ran cold as I stood frozen at the bottom of the stairs, listening to sounds no husband should ever hear coming from his own bedroom. Before I tell you what happened next, I would really appreciate it if you could drop a comment letting me know where you are watching from. If you have ever discovered a betrayal that shattered your world, hit that like button and subscribe, because what I did after overhearing my divorce plans being discovered will show you exactly how to handle a cheating spouse who thinks they can get away with it. I stood there for what felt like an eternity, but was probably only 30 seconds. My hands clenched into fists. My heart hammered against my ribs. Part of me wanted to storm up those stairs and confront them both. But a deeper, calmer part of my brain told me to be smart about this. Evidence first, emotion later. I quietly backed out of the house, closing the front door silently behind me. I sat in my truck in the driveway, hands shaking on the steering wheel. Rachel, my wife of 7 years, the woman I had built a life with, the person I trusted more than anyone in the world. I pulled out my phone and called my buddy James, who lived 2 blocks away. James, I need a favor. Can you come pick me up? Do not ask questions right now. Just come. James arrived within 5 minutes. I climbed into his car and told him to drive around the block and park where we could see my driveway but not be obvious. He started to ask what was going on, but I held up my hand. Just wait. 20 minutes later, a silver Lexus pulled out of my driveway. I recognized the driver immediately. Brian Foster, a guy I played softball with on Thursday nights, a man I considered a friend. He was married to Jennifer, a sweet woman who taught elementary school. They had 2 kids. James let out a low whistle. Man, I am so sorry. I did not respond. I was too busy feeling my entire world crumble around me. That evening, I pretended everything was normal when Rachel came downstairs, freshly showered, her hair still damp. She smiled at me, like nothing had happened, like she had not just been with another man in our bed an hour ago. "How was your day?" she asked, kissing my cheek. "Long," I replied, keeping my voice steady. "Yours?" "Oh, you know. Just boring errands and housework." The lie came so easily to her, so naturally. I wondered how many times she had lied to me before, how long this had been going on. I made it through dinner by focusing on my food and giving short answers. Rachel did not seem to notice anything wrong. Why would she? She thought she had gotten away with it. That night, after Rachel fell asleep, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. I needed proof. Solid, undeniable proof before I made any moves. I could not let emotion drive my decisions. I had to be strategic. The next morning, after Rachel left for her yoga class, which I now suspected was not actually yoga, I searched the house. I found her old phone, the one she claimed was broken, and had replaced last month, hidden in the back of her closet in a shoebox. I charged it and waited. When it powered on, I did not even need a password. She had never set one on this device. I opened her text messages, and there they were. Months of conversations with Brian. Intimate messages. Photos I will never be able to unsee. Plans for meetups. Complaints about their spouses. My stomach turned as I read through them. Rachel had written things about me, about our marriage, about how I was boring and predictable, how Brian made her feel alive again, how she wished she had married someone exciting instead of settling for a construction worker. Each word was a knife twisting deeper. I took screenshots of everything and emailed them to myself from a new account I created just for this purpose. Then I carefully returned the phone to its hiding place, exactly as I had found it. Over the next week, I documented everything. I installed a security camera app on the old tablet we never used and hid it on the bedroom bookshelf with a view of the bed. I tracked Rachel's location, using the family sharing feature on our phone plan that she had forgotten was active. Every time she said she was going to yoga or meeting her sister, I knew exactly where she really was. Brian's house, a hotel downtown, a park on the other side of town. I collected everything methodically. Dates, times, locations, photos, videos, text messages. I created a folder on a secure cloud drive with all the evidence. After 2 weeks of surveillance, I had more than enough proof. Now I needed to decide what to do with it. I met with a divorce attorney named Mr. Peterson, a sharp man in his 60s who had handled thousands of cases like mine. He reviewed my evidence and nodded approvingly. This is excellent documentation. With this kind of proof of infidelity, you will have a strong position in the divorce proceedings. Georgia is technically a no-fault divorce state, but judges still consider behavior when determining asset division and alimony. She will not be getting much from you. That was good news. But it was not enough. I did not just want to divorce Rachel. I wanted her to face consequences for what she had done. And Brian needed to face consequences too. I have the contact information for Brian's wife Jennifer, I told Mr. Peterson. I am planning to inform her about the affair. He leaned back in his chair. That is your right, of course. But be prepared for fallout. These situations can get messy. I am prepared. That evening, I sat at my desk in the home office going over my plan one more time. I had drafted an email to Jennifer with all the evidence attached. Screenshots, photos, video clips with timestamps, a timeline of the affair. Everything laid out clearly and undeniably. I also had divorce papers ready to serve Rachel. Mr. Peterson had them prepared. I just needed to give the word. I picked up my phone and called James. I needed someone to talk through this with. Someone who knew what was happening and could give me perspective. James answered on the second ring. What is up, man? I am about to blow up my marriage, and possibly someone else's. I just wanted to run through the plan one more time. I explained everything. How I was going to send the evidence to Jennifer first thing in the morning. How I would serve Rachel with divorce papers that same afternoon when she came home. How I was going to be out of the house staying with James for a few days while things settled. James listened quietly. You sure about this? Once you light this match, there is no putting the fire out. I am sure. She made her choice. Now she gets to live with the consequences. As I was talking to James explaining the specific timeline and how I had verified Jennifer's email address through her school's website, I did not hear the office door open slightly. I did not notice Rachel standing in the hallway, her face growing paler with every word she heard. So I sent the email to Jennifer at 8 in the morning. I continued. That gives her time to confront Brian before I serve Rachel the papers at 5. I want them both to be dealing with their own spouses at the same time. No chance to coordinate stories or warn each other. I heard a sharp intake of breath behind me and spun around in my chair. Rachel stood in the doorway, her hand over her mouth, her eyes wide with shock and something that looked like panic. James, I will call you back. I hung up and stared at my wife. She stared back at me frozen. How long have you known? Her voice came out as a whisper. Long enough. I kept my voice calm, but my heart was racing. I stood up from the desk chair, putting it between us as a barrier. Rachel's shock morphed into something else. Anger. Her face flushed red, and her hands balled into fists at her sides. You have been spying on me. You have been collecting evidence like some kind of stalker. I almost laughed at the absurdity. I am the stalker. You are the one who has been sleeping with my friend in our bed while I am at work. She took a step toward me, her voice rising. You cannot send that information to Jennifer. You will ruin her life. She has kids, Nathan. Think about her kids. Now you care about kids. Now you care about ruining lives. Where was that concern when you were betraying your own marriage? Rachel's composure shattered completely. She started yelling, her voice shrill and desperate. "You are not going to destroy Brian's family because you are mad at me. I will not let you. You will not let me." I felt a cold fury settle over me. "You do not get a say in this anymore. You gave up that right when you decided to cheat." She lunged forward and grabbed for my phone sitting on the desk. I moved faster, snatching it away from her reach. Rachel lost her balance and stumbled, catching herself on the desk edge. When she looked up at me, there were tears streaming down her face, but they were not tears of remorse. They were tears of rage and fear. "Please, Nathan. Please do not do this. We can work this out. I will end things with Brian. We can go to counseling. Just please do not send that email. Work it out." "Are you serious right now? I made a mistake." People make mistakes. A mistake is forgetting to buy milk at the store. A mistake is being late for dinner. What you did was a choice. Multiple choices. Every single time you lied to me. Every time you met up with him. Every time you came home and pretended everything was fine. Those were choices. Rachel sank into the chair, sobbing now. "What do you want from me? What can I do to fix this? Nothing. There is nothing you can do. It is over." Her sobs turned into something angrier. She stood up abruptly, knocking the chair backward. "Fine. Fine. If you are going to ruin my life, then I will make sure you regret it. I will tell everyone you were abusive. I will tell them you were controlling and jealous, and that I was afraid of you. Go ahead. I have evidence of everything. Videos of you with Brian. Your own text messages talking about how boring I am, how you wished you had married someone else. No one is going to believe you." She stood there breathing hard, her eyes wild. Then she did something I did not expect. She grabbed a framed photo from the desk and hurled it at me. I ducked, and it shattered against the wall behind me. "You are going to pay for this," she screamed. "You are going to regret ever messing with me. Get out of this room right now, Rachel. I am not playing games with you." She grabbed another item, a heavy bookend, and raised it over her head. I stepped toward her, ready to defend myself if needed, but James burst through the front door at that moment. He must have heard the yelling through the phone before I hung up and rushed over. James positioned himself between us. "Rachel, put that down. This is not going to help anything." She looked at him, then at me, then at the bookend in her hands. Slowly, she lowered it and dropped it on the floor with a heavy thud. Then, she ran out of the room. I heard her footsteps pounding up the stairs and the bedroom door slam. James looked at the broken glass on the floor, then at me. "You okay?" "Yeah. But I am staying at your place tonight. And that email is going out first thing in the morning, no matter what she says." I spent that night at James's house, lying awake in his guest room. Around 2 in the morning, my phone started buzzing with texts from Rachel. Dozens of them. Some begging, some threatening, some trying to bargain. "I will give you whatever you want in the divorce. Please just do not tell Jennifer. Think about what this will do to innocent people. You are cruel and vindictive. I loved you, and this is how you treat me." I did not respond to any of them. There was nothing left to say. At exactly 8 o'clock the next morning, I hit send on the email to Jennifer. I attached every piece of evidence. I wrote a brief explanation that I was sorry to be the bearer of this news, but I felt she deserved to know the truth about her husband. I told her I was filing for divorce, and that if she needed any of the evidence for her own purposes, she was welcome to use it. Then I waited. At 8:30 my phone rang. It was a number I did not recognize. I answered. "Is this Nathan?" A woman's voice, shaky and thick with tears. "Yes. This is Jennifer Foster. I just got your email. I am so sorry you had to find out this way." She let out a bitter laugh. "I am not. I suspected something was going on, but I did not have proof. Thank you for giving me the truth. Brian just left for work. I am going to talk to a lawyer today. If you need anything, let me know. I mean that. Just one question. How long based on the text messages? At least 6 months. Maybe longer. I heard her breath hitch. Okay. Thank you. And Nathan. Make sure Rachel does not get a single thing she does not deserve. People like them need to face consequences. That is exactly what I intend to do. At 5 o'clock that afternoon, I had a process server meet Rachel at our house to deliver the divorce papers. I was not there. I did not need to be. Mr. Peterson had everything handled. My phone exploded with calls and texts from Rachel. I blocked her number. She tried calling from other phones. I blocked those too. She sent me an email. I set up a filter to send anything from her directly to a folder I would check only when necessary for legal purposes. For the next 2 months, I let the lawyers handle everything. Rachel tried every tactic she could think of. She claimed I had abandoned her. She said I was financially abusive for cutting off her access to our joint accounts after she tried to drain them. She told anyone who would listen that I was the bad guy in this situation. But the evidence did not lie. Text messages, videos, location data, bank statements showing hotel charges. It was all there in black and white. The judge was not sympathetic to Rachel's claims. In the final divorce hearing, I was awarded the house. She got her car and her personal belongings. No alimony. We had no kids, so there was no custody battle. The marriage was dissolved completely. Brian and Jennifer also divorced. I heard through mutual friends that Jennifer got primary custody of their kids and a very favorable settlement. Brian moved to an apartment across town and was no longer welcome at our softball games. Rachel moved in with her sister in South Carolina. I have not heard from her directly since the divorce was finalized. 6 months after that terrible Tuesday, when I came home early and heard my wife with another man, I was sitting on my back porch, watching the sun set over my property. My property now, not ours. Mine. The healing process had not been easy. There were nights when the betrayal still stung. Moments when I questioned whether I had done the right thing by exposing the affair to Jennifer. Times when I wondered if I could have handled things differently. But then, I would remember Rachel's face when she was caught. Not remorseful, not apologetic, just angry that she had been discovered, furious that she was facing consequences. That told me everything I needed to know about who she really was. I started going to therapy a few weeks after the divorce was finalized. My therapist, Dr. Williams, helped me work through the anger and betrayal. She taught me that Rachel's choices were not a reflection of my worth. They were a reflection of her character. You gave her honesty, loyalty, and commitment, Dr. Williams told me during one session. She chose to throw that away. That is on her, not on you. I also reconnected with old friends I had neglected during my marriage. Guys from my college days who I had lost touch with. We started meeting up for basketball on weekends. I joined a hiking group. I took a woodworking class at the community center. Slowly, I started to feel like myself again. Not the person I was before Rachel. Not the person I was during the marriage. But someone new. Someone stronger. I learned that betrayal does not have to destroy you. It can remake you if you let it. It can show you what you are really made of. It can teach you to value yourself enough to walk away from people who do not deserve you. One evening, James came over with pizza and beer. We sat on the porch, talking about life work and everything in between. You know what I respect about how you handled everything, James said, taking a sip of his beer. You did not just react emotionally. You were strategic. You protected yourself legally and financially. A lot of guys would have just gone up there and started swinging. But you played the long game and won. I shrugged. I was angry. Trust me. But anger without a plan is just chaos. I wanted to make sure Rachel faced real consequences, not just my emotional outburst that would blow over in a few days. Mission accomplished. I thought about Jennifer and her kids. I had run into her at the grocery store a few weeks ago. She thanked me again for telling her the truth. She said her kids were adjusting to the new normal and that she felt free for the first time in years. That made me feel good, like at least something positive had come from all this pain. The truth is powerful, I said to James. People can deny emotions. They can twist words. They can gaslight you into questioning your own reality. But they cannot deny hard evidence. Photos, videos, timestamps, messages. The truth speaks for itself. James raised his beer bottle. To the truth then. To the truth. As we sat there in the comfortable silence of old friendship, I realized something important. I did not miss Rachel. I missed the idea of her, the person I thought she was. But that person never really existed. The real Rachel was someone who could look me in the eye and lie without hesitation. Someone who could betray vows and then blame me for exposing it. I deserved better than that. And now, I had the chance to find it. 3 months later, I was at a friend's barbecue when I met someone new. Her name was Laura. She was a paramedic with a quick smile and an easy laugh. We talked for 2 hours about everything and nothing. She had been through her own difficult divorce a year ago. She understood what it was like to rebuild your life after betrayal. We started seeing each other casually. No pressure, no rush. Just two people enjoying each other's company and taking things one day at a time. I am not going to lie and say everything was perfect. I had trust issues. I was cautious in ways I never used to be. But Laura was patient. She understood that healing takes time. One night over dinner, she asked me about my divorce. I gave her the abbreviated version, leaving out the most painful details. "Do you regret how you handled it?" she asked. I thought about it carefully. No. I regret that it happened at all. I regret trusting someone who did not deserve it. But I do not regret standing up for myself. I do not regret demanding consequences for her actions. And I do not regret telling Jennifer the truth. She deserved to know. Laura nodded. Good. People who cheat count on their partners being too embarrassed or too nice to expose them. You did not give her that option. Exactly. As I drove home that night, I thought about the journey I had been on. From the shock of discovering the affair to the cold fury of collecting evidence. From overhearing my own divorce plans being discovered to watching Rachel lose control when she realized she could not manipulate the situation. From the legal battles to the final decree. From the raw pain of betrayal to the slow, steady work of healing. It had been brutal. Exhausting. Heartbreaking. But I had survived it. More than survived. I had come through it with my integrity intact, my self-respect restored, and my future wide open. I learned that you teach people how to treat you. If you accept lies and betrayal and excuses, that is what you will continue to receive. But if you stand firm in your boundaries and demand better, you create space for better things to come into your life. I also learned that exposing the truth is not vindictive. It is necessary. Rachel wanted to keep her affair hidden, not because she was protecting anyone, but because she wanted to avoid consequences. The moment I threatened to shine light on what she had done, she lost her mind. That told me everything. And I learned that sometimes the best revenge is not revenge at all. It is simply living well, building a good life, refusing to let someone else's betrayal define your worth or your future. A year after the divorce, I was doing better than I had been in years. My business was thriving. I had good friends. I was dating someone who treated me with respect. I had hobbies and interests, and a life that was fully mine. Rachel had tried to take everything from me, my trust, my peace, my home, my future. But in the end, she took nothing. Because I did not let her. I chose to fight back strategically. I chose to protect myself. I chose to demand accountability. And those choices made all the difference. So if you are out there right now dealing with a cheating spouse, let me tell you something. You are not powerless. You are not stuck. You have options. Document everything. Protect yourself legally and financially. Do not let them gaslight you or manipulate you into thinking their betrayal is somehow your fault. And if they get caught and lose control like Rachel did, do not back down. That rage is not about you. It is about them facing consequences they thought they could avoid. Stand firm. You deserve better. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever caught a partner cheating? How did you handle it? Would you expose the affair to the other person's spouse or keep it private? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I would love to hear different perspectives on this. If this story helped you in any way, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more real stories about relationships, betrayal, and finding strength when life gets hard. Share this video with anyone who might need to hear it today. Thank you so much for listening to my story, and I genuinely hope it gives you courage if you are facing something similar. Remember that you deserve honesty, loyalty, and respect in your relationships. Never settle for less. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.